them. We don't want you using the same tactics when you go back to war again that you did before, because when you go south, you're going to have to make sure you don't kill civilians. Now, remember what I just told you, right? And don't tell me this is by accident, because communists plan very, very well. This whole delay thing has been planned from the very beginning. Biden, when he first went there, asked about a delay, told him about a delay, pressured Bibi about a delay. When it was leaked, he denied it. When he got off the plane, because he's stunad, meaning he's mentally ill, he revealed it. All on the plane trip, his staff is denying that he told Bibi to delay, that he needs a delay. He comes back, and the first thing he tells the press is that he wants a delay. This is because the man is mentally gone. The brain isn't working. And we have him as president. We got him in the White House making decisions about the lives of thousands and thousands of people, and he can't figure out probably how to eat his vanilla ice cream on his own. I mean, if you can't put vanilla ice cream in your mouth, you can't conduct a war. And he couldn't conduct a war before he became. Well, we've been telling the innocent Palestinians, all 12 of them, to go south. But now, since we've taken our delay in a war, I really do think at some point during this thing, General MacArthur or General Patton is going to come out of the grave and say, "Are you crazy? Are you, has the United States military gone nutso? A delay in a war? This is not a football game. It is not a basketball game. This is a war. You don't ask for time. You don't ask for timeout. You don't get 5 timeouts, right? And then, and you try to save them until the end. You don't get that in a war. This is a war because Hamas came and conducted acts that take you back to about the 8th century when Muhammad was alive. I think they tried to emulate the second half of Muhammad's career, killing children, raping people, slaughtering innocent people. They have a woman and a child yet. Who the hell they captured and this is an army going after women and children? And we got people demonstrating for them. We've got that piece of junk, Susan Sarandon, demonstrating for them. What kind of evil people are these that demonstrate for people who capture children? Gosh almighty. Well, Biden has given him a way out. It becomes now almost impossible to eliminate Hamas. I don't know how you do it. First of all, you're not gonna get the top leaders who are multi-billionaires that are sitting in Qatar because, Biden doesn't have the guts to take on Qatar, or the capability, or the desire, or the loyal Americans who would do it, since his administration is made up of people who fit a different definition than loyal Americans. So they're gonna be protected. No matter what happened, the top leaders of Hamas will survive having slaughtered the Israeli people. Then their middle leadership, where they were doing a pretty good job, or even their on the ground leadership, Yawas, Sinwar, Deef, the people running it, pretty good chance they're going to get them. Not now. They got 4 more days to figure out where the hell to hide in a much bigger area than we had them trapped in. That's what the 4 days was for. Mark my words. Humanitarian what? Humanitarian what? You know who's carrying out the humanitarian mission? The UN relief agency. They're a communist organization. They hate us. They hate Israel. Every time we give hundreds of millions to Palestine, does it go to Palestine? Well, yes, it does. It goes to Hamas, who's running Palestine. Every bit of the humanitarian aid went through Hamas. They took out of it what they needed, and then they passed on to the people the scraps that were left. And where anything was worth money, they sure as hell kept. So now, 4 days, Hamas has got itself perfectly set up to get through the next onslaught. They'll kill a whole bunch of people more because they put this right out front, but they'll survive. Their leadership will be intact. Their leadership is now protected. And Biden, Blinken, Dinkin, and all of those people in the Carter and all those people in the Biden administration that are wearing American uniforms are disgracing us because what they're doing is they're making certain that Hamas survives. So Hamas can have another day of coming back and trying to accomplish its ultimate purpose, the elimination of the Jewish people. There's no reason for any of these things that he's doing than that. And it's a shame because Bibi's too smart not to know it, and Bibi doesn't have the resources to say no to it because he can't be on his own. Otherwise, there'll be no chance for Israel to survive, much less Hamas being destroyed. So we now have a 2-day delay. How many more? I don't know. I mean, let's put it this way: as many more as Hamas want, because the United States of America, your country, my country, is on the side of the terrorists, not on the side of Israel. We're selling Israel out because when push comes to shove, the loyalties of this Obama Biden administration run to China, Iran, Palestine, Israel out. So we see this young girl, Abigail Edon, who is 4 years old. She's the first US citizen to be released. Another insane situation. The biggest military power on earth, still by some, can't get its hostages released until the end so that, they can squeeze as much as possible. How is that possible? I think if you were president of the United States, you could get them released because you probably have loyalty to the United States and courage. You have a conscience. They're all missing in, the dodo in the White House and the people around him. We've had only one American released. Shouldn't our hostages have been released right away out of courtesy to the strongest power on earth? Shouldn't have that been so obvious that if they didn't do it within 2 or 3 days, we were gonna destroy them? The longer you wait, the more damage is done to hostages. I mean, these children survived, thank God, but have they survived? And how will they survive? And how many will be permanently damaged as a result of this? What they went through. We don't even know what they have no idea what they went through. Some of them can't talk. Some of them talk so low you can't hear them. We won't know for some time the permanent damage that was done to them, because we waited so long. We didn't even attempt an extraction rather. We've got we train for that 24 hours a day. I've seen us do it. I know our results in extrications. They're surprisingly very, very good. And we're working with the country that originally taught it to us, and we've taught it back to them. We weren't even attempted. And still, we've had only one American back. If you want, you can look at a picture of her. You can look at a picture of Abigail Edan, who was in the arms of her father when he was killed. I don't know that she really knows that. Can you see her? Right here. Very cute little girl. I don't know if she had been told yet that her parents were gone. Sure. Hold her up as a symbol of all the children that were released and the ones that are still there, and just contemplating what damage has been done to them by these less than human Neanderthals. So, so now more people were released. Latest release, I think, was 12. Again, tonight, no Americans. Biden's got a lot of weight, huh? I mean, they really fear him. It's like they're sitting there thinking, gosh, we better return those Americans or he's going to put a bomb on our head. You know, like the way Trump did to Assad with the 59 Tomahawk missiles, or what Trump did to ISIS to send them into, send them up to paradise where they belong and wipe them out.
Well, Mayor, the White House actually put out a statement just recently that Hamas is not they don't think Hamas is holding US hostages as leverage, quote unquote. What's your take on that?
Oh, they're holding
They're,
what
they
are
they
they?
don't think they are. That's
As a
what they
part of
said.
our foster parent program?
That's what they said. So, you know.
Mike, that's the most asinine damn.
That's why I wanted to get your reaction because it's ridiculous. I know. I know.
Did they bother to mention the reason for why they're holding it?
No, just not for leverage. That's all they said.
They just like children.
I guess so.
Yeah.
Joe Biden likes children too.
No one's suggesting Biden be a foster parent. You hear anybody say that? Not even a Democrat suggests that. You think Democrats want their little daughters near him? Well, I mean, particularly if they have long hair. Holy God! Or you wouldn't put any children in a pool with him, right? Well, he told you already. He likes young kids touching the hair on his legs. You're going to put your daughter in a pool with him? Let's be real. The president of the United States, who was at my house and I had a pool, I would not let any young children in the pool with him. Sorry. The Secret Service can't force me to put young people in the pool with them, can they? I don't think so.
He said that before he ran for president.
That's when some of our idiot citizens, were evaluated. Where did he get these votes? I mean, I know you're not supposed to say this, but I am. Let's assume for a moment that he cheated. Oh, he still got a lot of votes. Even cheating, he got a lot of votes.
There are enough brain morons.
Who the hell voted for him? The guy was in a base.
Well, maybe Corn Pop voted for him?
I think Corn Pop is living crap out of him.
Traumatized.
No. Well, Mayor,
Here's a point made by.
I was going to read him the
Every day that
the
passes with Hamas,
I was going to read him.
eradicating it harder.
Whatever.
But I've got to tell you, New York Post, I'm on your side on this one. You tell me how you're going to obliterate Hamas. How are you going to get those guys in custody? Who's got the onus to say, because you don't eliminate Hamas if you don't eliminate Hitler. You don't eliminate Hamas if you don't eliminate Stalin and Lenin. You don't eliminate Hamas if you don't eliminate the leaders. They're all sitting with billions of dollars and covering about. 20 sides from Thailand. We got one American. No one can blame Jerusalem for choosing to prioritize the hostages' return. Yet Israel faces a ticking clock. And if the past is any guide, Israel will be forced to call off its campaign against Hamas prematurely. I'm giving some history here. Either Hamas is destroyed, in other words, or Israel is. And right now, your money has to be on Hamas because Biden is doing everything he can to make sure they survive. Democrats want to put conditions on the money going to Israel about the micromanagement of the war effort so that the Israelis kill fewer Palestinians, fewer innocent lives, without explaining to people the reason these innocent lives are being taken at all, if they are innocent, is because Hamas puts them there. So how is Israel going to conduct its war if it can't say, "Look, we're doing everything we can," but if you're a Hamas soldier or a Hamas leader and you're surrounded by civilians, we got to take you out. You're the one who killed the civilians. That's what the laws of war allow. You want Israel to go beyond that for the savages that rape their women? What side are we on? Want the answer? You'll get it. We'll take a short break, and we'll be right back. Towers Foundation delivers on its promise to do good and never forget the sacrifices America's greatest heroes have made for us. Heroes who risked their lives to keep our communities and our country safe. Heroes like United States Marine Corps Captain and pilot John Jeremy Sachs. Captain Sachs sustained fatal injuries when his military aircraft crashed during training, killing him and 5 other service members. He's remembered by loved ones as courageous, brilliant, and devoted to his career, family, and friends. Sean is survived by his wife, Amber, who gave birth to their second daughter 3 months after his death. Tunnel to Towers paid the mortgage on the family home for Amber and their 2 daughters. The foundation has helped over 1,000 military and first responder families navigate the worst of times by removing the burden of a mortgage payment. Our nation's heroes and their families need your help now more than ever. Donate $11 a month to Tunnel to Towers at T2T.org. T2T.org. That's T, the number 2T.org. T2T.org. Please donate now.
You're live.
This is Rudy Giuliani back with America's Mayor Live, and I have Dr. Maria with me. And before I ask her the question that I mainly have her on for, but I always have her on for everything, I can't get over this poor girl who I guess she's found out now that her father, well, she's 3 years old when it happened. I think she may have had a birthday while in captivity. And she was in her father's arms when he was gunned down by Hamas.
Yeah. My understanding is she saw both parents killed.
And her dad collapsed on top of her. So she was drenched in her father's blood. And then she was taken hostage.
Yeah, there's going to be a lot of trauma with these children. Another 12-year-old young boy said that he was forced to watch those really graphic videos of people being dismembered, babies beheaded, women raped, and had guns in his face saying, "If you cry, I'm going to kill you." So it was very, very traumatic. One of the little girls, another little girl, an Irish Jewish young lady, told her dad, well, actually, she was just whispering to her dad, So they were threatened and conditioned not to make any noise. So she's been released now for a few days, but she is still only whispering to her father. So this is going to be years and years of therapy. It's tragic. And, you know, it's so disingenuous, this whole thing about how terrorist prisoners are being exchanged for innocent lives. I mean, Hamas wins all the way. And the fact that this is going to trickle, you know, there's hundreds of people in captivity still, rumored to have been ciphered off to other terrorist groups, so may not even be in Hamas control anymore. It's just a big farce. In Yes, of course, we all want the hostages to come back safely, but Hamas is playing a game with Israel and the world.
Well, this is the recent deal, the new one, about to be executed. So what that says here is 20 women and children will be given up for 60 soldiers. Okay, now you have 20 women and children. They're going to go off. They're going to live on a kibbutz. What are these 60 soldiers going to do? Well, you have to.
They're terrorists.
You got to calculate here how many people are they going to kill?
Yeah, they're terrorists.
So you've saved 20 lives, but have you cost more than 20 lives?
Yeah.
By doing it, by letting 60 soldiers go. And does that have to be taken into consideration, not by a mother, but by a leader of the people? Is that what wisdom is about? How about we go back to an earlier one, because I do want to take on the Israeli policy of doing this. How about this one? This was in 2011. In 2011, the Israelis gave up 1,026 Palestinian, many of them killers, murderers, multiple murderers, for one soldier. Now, as of 2014, those people had already killed 6 Israelis, the people released that they knew about. So they saved 1 life and they caused 6. Now that's going to get worse.
You know,
those people have participated in actions after, plus the leader of the invasion that went after the women and children is an animal named Yeha Sinwar, who was released. He was number 1,026 of the 1,025. How many has he killed in return for the 1 Israeli they saved? Why do you do this? You do not negotiate with terrorists, and you save lives. I know the emotion is very strong. I know weakness can take over. But if you're a leader, you have to have wisdom. 1 for 1,026 murderers, and you're not going to kill thousands for your 1?
You know, I know it's not popular, and the world has put pressure on Netanyahu, but I would take a strike team and go into Qatar and kill the head of Hamas.
That's what his brother did. He went and saved all those Israelis.
Absolutely. You know, you got to do it.
And he did it too. He's capable of doing it.
And I wouldn't let Iran off the hook.
Well, let's look at our president.
They did train those Hamas who entered the kibbutz into the festival, were trained for almost 2 years within Iran.
By 2014, that group that had been released for 1 soldier, they had killed 6 people that were documented, including 3 children. They killed 3 children for the 1 soldier that they got back.
They don't care about life, especially innocent life. It's called terrorism for a reason. They go after the most innocent.
They killed 3
people.
3 teenagers: Naftali Frankel, Gil Ad-Shar, and Eyal Yefrak were killed in June 2014 by one of the people that was, his name was Mahoud Kawasami. He had been imprisoned in 2004 for killing 16 Israelis in a bus bombing in Beersheba. and he was out in 2011, and then he finished his career by killing teenagers, but with the assistance of the Israeli government, who let him out to get one person back. Is one life important? Yes, of course it is. But this isn't like, you've got to know what you're doing. You don't have the room to be an idiot when you're a government leader and think idiot thoughts. Like you're going to let 1,026 killers go free and they're not going to kill somebody. So
Doesn't make logical sense, unfortunately.
you have got to know you are getting people killed on one side in order to satisfy massive emotion on the other.
Yep.
And are you doing it because of your great big conscience, or are you doing it because of political pressure? Which would be the actual courageous decision? I mean, I don't know. You can't measure lives, but you certainly, I don't know that anyone would ever calculate one life for 1,000.
No. You know, originally when you called me to come on tonight, you asked me about what's going on in China.
Yes, I did.
So,
and I want you to get into that. And I'm glad you helped me make the transition, because I might not have.
There's a lot of skepticism on what's happening in northern China, and it's happening mainly with children with respiratory illness. So the World Health Organization has been asking China for information now for weeks, and China has been very slow to react.
This sounds like a very, very bad replay of history.
They finally gave some data, whether it's factual or not, I don't know, but it shows no new pathogens. The typical things you would see in winter months, like mycoplasma, pneumonia, RSV, it's a virus, respiratory syncytial virus, COVID virus. So they're saying there's no new pathogens, because that was the biggest fear.
But what caused the reason to ask the question?
Because there was big clusters of children getting sick and hospitalized.
I see. The hospitals were crowded.
Yeah, they were overcrowded. Now, we remember during the pandemic, I'll never forget it. I was a hospital CEO. It was in the fall of 2019.
Yeah, about this time of year.
And I had heard this mysterious respiratory illnesses. So I started calling my contacts, and you know, we all know now it's from the Wuhan lab. Whether it was accidentally leaked or purposely linked, China still covered it up, allowed people to travel. There's a lot of course, conspiracy theories that this was all purpose to do the election, right? To be able to steal the election. How else could election officials say, okay, we're going to do this massive mail-in ballots, and they're going to start by really having fear mongering. You're going to die if you get COVID. And in the whole mask thing, taking away your rights to go to church, but the liquor store can stay open. So it's all this craziness. So when this mysterious illness is happening again, the thought was, oh my God, we're coming up on another election. So we'll have to keep an eye on it. Right now, it's mainly children who are being affected.
Well, I mean, I am absolutely convinced that the crooked, dishonest leadership of the evil leadership of the Democrat Party has something else additional in mind, because nothing has worked. They've tried everything. I mean, they've tried to kill Trump now about 6 times politically, right? And each one of them has turned out to be a lie. Despite the fact that these things get proven to be absolute lies, the press still indulges them. I mean, by this point, it is obvious they're lying. I mean, Russian collusion.
Lie.
They were lying. We were telling the truth.
Yeah.
Cover up the hard drive is Russian disinformation.
Lie.
We were telling the truth about it. The conversation with Zelensky, for which President Trump was impeached but not removed, was inappropriate because there was no evidence that the Bidens had committed a crime.
Lie.
And would have been proven by the hard drive if it hadn't been covered up by people like Bill Barr and Ray, both of whom are criminals for doing it. what is we can't yet say that we can prove the election was stolen, but I'm just going to ask you the chances that you go to bed at night on election night and you're leading in 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 states by a margin that would often be enough to call an election. And then you don't lose one of them. You don't lose 2 of them. You don't lose 3 of them. You don't lose 4. You lose all 5 of them.
And
Lie.
the same MIT professors that spoke with me spoke with you in that it was statistically impossible for Trump to have lost Pennsylvania as well as others.
Yeah, he was ahead in Pennsylvania, 750,000 votes. And just recently, the truck driver who came forward, they had him on television for one night, and the guy disappeared with the 260,000 ballots that were shipped into Pennsylvania from New York. And then the guy kind of disappeared, like all these people disappeared, including witnesses I gave to the FBI. This guy's appeared again and said it was all true. He brought phony ballots there. When he went back, the truck was gone and missing. They had him drop it off in Lancaster, Pennsylvania. They probably wanted it in Philadelphia, where they were going to do the cheating. And he was coerced by the federal agents.
And the judge who wrote the report in Wisconsin, all the ballot harvesting that is illegal there, children of parents that were in nursing homes who are not cognitive, they couldn't have said who they wanted to vote for. All of that swayed that election. Mail-in ballots. I really urge people to look at 2000 Mules. And you know what? Nothing's going to change, right? Even if we prove tomorrow that it was definitely the margin of error was such
Eventually
that Trump,
it will be proved.
Eventually it'll be proven. We're not going to change anything, right? Biden is in office. But what we should do as an intelligent country, species is look what went wrong and put things in place so it doesn't happen again.
100%.
But look how smart the politicians and the media were. They shame you to bring up the election. You're an election denier. They shame you to be a conservative because the FBI is going to do photo recognition with you if you go to any rally, any place. Because look at how they changed the narrative with January 6th. They made it a riot, which it was not.
No, that whole scenario is changing completely.
Yeah. So it is oppression. We've seen oppression in our country along the years, right? We saw oppression against Chinese people when they first came in the 800s and did the railroads. We saw it against Irish. We saw it against Italians. We saw the blacks enslaved. We got over that, matured, kept going forward.
Seems like we haven't gotten over anti-Semitism.
We are now regressing, and we are politically persecuting anybody who's a free thinker or different than the mainstream media and the politicians.
Well, it's all because there's a purpose to it. This isn't happening because the weather is changing, although they'd like to think that maybe it's climate change.
Weather always changes.
This is
I live in New England.
This is happening because the people that are doing this, actually Obama told us this. He wants to change our form of government.
You want to fundamentally change.
He wants to change it to the form of government he was instructed in as a young man, which is called communism. He was instructed by some of the major communists when he was a young man. They were his teachers. And when he talks about America having committed all of these sins all the time, that's right out of Marx's playbook. Mm-hmm. It's right out of Marx's playbook. You get the people of the country to hate their country. That's the first thing you do. So when he went on his apology tour, when he first became president, that was very much a part of the communist plan to take over America. He has even said that Biden is going to get to complete it. He doesn't tell you what it is. And Biden doesn't know what the hell he's doing. He's got all the little communists around him, but he is playing out every single objective in the Marx playbook is getting played out. He is not on the side of Israel. He is on the side of China, Iran, and Palestine. That's it. Those are the three.
Yeah.
Those are the three. And China, of course, has paid him more than any country in the world.
May I take 5 minutes or less of your show to talk about the documentary Minneapolis Falling?
Sure.
And I would love for you to please go to Rumble and watch it. It is free. So briefly, we all know who George Floyd was, a man who overdosed and died. And people blame Derek Chauvin for having his knee on his neck. Well, there was no asphyxiation. The autopsy report shows there was an overdose. He had a bad ticker. This documentary goes into all the things that were covered up. And remember, this was a time when we had politicians like Joe Biden and Nancy Pelosi trying to divide us as a nation by color. They purposely omitted the arresting officer of George Floyd was Black. They zeroed in on Derek Chauvin, who was there less time than any of the other police officers. So it's really a really eye-opening documentary. And I encourage you, if you got involved in BLM riots, protests, some of them were protests, but what we saw in Minneapolis and New York City and Chicago were riots.
I never
violent,
saw a protest that
violent
didn't
riots.
end up in violence.
But if you
Not
were
wrong.
marching along, not thinking you're doing the right thing, right? Black lives do matter. All lives matter. Watch this documentary and see how you were used.
Yeah.
You were manipulated. So that's all I have to say. It's
Well, that was much
free
less than 5
on
minutes,
Rumble.
Doctor.
Well, I know
Maria?
I'm going to talk about this with you on Uncovering the Truth on
Well,
Sunday
we're going to talk
on our
about it
radio
quite a
show.
bit because
Yep.
I think there's a lot more to come out on
Yes.
this. I think there are two left-wing communist myths that are being deconstructed as we speak. One of them is that. One of them, and of course, the autopsy report now is quite clear. The cause of death was fentanyl poisoning. So the man in jail, whatever else he did, right or wrong, didn't kill him.
Well, this is one interesting
He
part,
should be out
right?
of jail right now.
I'm probably one of the only people who didn't believe he was killed by a knee to the
Yes,
neck. Number
including
one,
me. I did.
the knee
didn't
wasn't
know.
really on the neck. But anyways, I saw the signs and symptoms of an overdose. So when I was seeing the films back when it was happening, I was yelling at the police officers for failing to see a medical emergency because I've seen it 100 times. They get that agitation when they're overdosing. Then he started saying, I can't breathe. So I knew he was overdosing and I was yelling mad. They failed to recognize a medical emergency. But I didn't know. And I learned that the minute he was all restless, not wanting to get in the car, they couldn't get him in the car. This big,
And this is
big
because
guy,
of the overdose.
because of the overdose. He was panicking. That's exactly what happens.
I remember it.
So they put him on the ground. Within 36 seconds, they had called EMS. There was a series of screw ups with the fire department and EMS.
And getting there, and they delayed
and getting there, and it was a delay in getting there. But they did
Can I make
recognize.
a couple of points
Yes.
about this
Yes.
that really bolsters tremendously? First of all, I was very moved when I heard it, when he was saying, while the knee was on, they said his neck, but it was on the side. He was saying, I can't breathe, I can't breathe, I can't breathe. Well, they show you footage of him saying that long before, when he was taken out of the first car. The minute they put their hands on him, and
The first thing I complained about.
he started saying, I can't breathe.
Yeah.
I can't breathe. It was part of the fentanyl
Yeah.
reaction.
Yes.
The I can't breathe, which looks,
Yes.
if you just look at the Chauvin part of the tape, it looks like it's a reaction to Chauvin's knee on his neck. He was saying it long before Chauvin was there.
Yeah. And that's when
And-
that's when I thought he was overdosing.
and he was
before he
acting-
got on the ground.
And he was acting weird getting out of the car long before
You'll
they
learn
tried
a
to
lot.
put him.
I almost don't want to tell you
Well, let me
because
tell him
it's
the second
so
one.
shocking.
He was arrested a couple of years earlier. He acted exactly the same
many
way.
times. And
He acted exactly the same way. He panicked in the car.
but here's what
Again,
happened.
because he was an overdose of drugs.
Yeah.
In this case, not fatal. But
So-
he did exactly the same thing, including I can't breathe, I can't breathe, I can't breathe.
So the first time he ended up telling the police officers, and this was back in 2019,
Oh,
maybe
yeah.
something like
Somebody
that.
shot him.
You know, when we've seen this 100 times too, you get caught by the police, you start eating all the drugs, right? And then you overdose. So that initial stop back in 2019, at least he told the police officer, I swallowed a whole bunch of pills. They were able to get EMS there right away. This time he didn't tell the police officers. I saw it with my eyes of expertise. But they slowed down a film of the body camera. And what do you see? You see a bag of something in his mouth. So when he was stopped in the car, and remember why he was stopped? He was giving fake bills. He went to pay for something in a store with fake money.
Yeah, it was
So that's
forgery.
yeah, forgery.
But all of that delay in the original car was a delay so that he could dispose of by ingesting the drugs that he had. So who knows if that wasn't the fentanyl overdose or it had occurred before that, and this just made it worse.
Yeah, correct.
But the end of the line is when they did the autopsy, the chemistry came back. There were a lot of drugs in his system.
He had a lot
just about
of
every
drugs.
drug imaginable.
But his
the
fentanyl level was what
the
was
one that
called
killed him.
11 ng nanograms, and people are pronounced dead at 3.
And of course, he was a big man, so he could probably handle more than the average person. But it's what induced the
And he had a bad ticker.
psychopathic type behavior. He acted very, very strange. And you thought that reaction was to their being so mean to him. The reaction was to what he had done to his body, and they weren't actually that mean to him. Yeah, I mean, he caused many of his own problems with the way he acted. But the main thing that is unbelievable, the judge who presided over the case would not let them put into evidence the police manual, which made the procedure that Chauvin was following not only lawful, but recommended. And if you go and use the videos that the police have shown, and you compare it to
it's the same
Chauvin, it's exactly the same thing. And you can see that the knee is not on the neck; it's over here.
The judge
which is
wasn't
where he's
right.
supposed to put
The
it.
DA Ellison is a communist. He's a race baiter. He wanted to get a white guy. You know,
His son voted for defunding the police.
Yeah.
His son is on the city council.
Yep.
He immediately voted for defunding the police. They immediately gave up the police station. I mean, this could have taken place in some communist Russian city, which it is.
It is.
So we'll be back after this short delay.
Our device is something that you can plug into your television, and now you can use your television as a social television type experience. So in the Portal universe, you can watch your favorite content creators' videos, live streams, music. We also have TV subscriptions as well.
TV subscriptions.
You can also
regular channels, all the sports.
Right, you can actually cut your cable from your cable subscription and get QUX TV on our QX TV boxes, and you can pay half the price that you're currently paying for your cable television subscription, and you can get all the best premium TV channels and more. I mean, it's really, there's so much on there, Rudy. I mean, you've seen it.
No, I've seen it and I use it, and it's good. I mean, it's just exactly the same except for half the price. Plus, nobody is finding out what I'm watching, and that's not being reported to anybody.
Right, so you have absolute privacy using this device, which you don't have on other devices out there currently on the market.
This is absolutely great. QUX.TV is how you can find out about it. QUX.TV.
Use promo code RUDY to receive $30 off.
Live.
So, welcome back. And while you're remembering promo code Rudy for QUX.TV, which you should get right away for
and
Christmas.
mypillow.com.
And mypillow.com.
Good Christmas specials.
Oh my gosh, yeah. You can fill up the stockings with it. You can fill up the stockings with this too. This is balance of nature. These are the fruits. These are the veggies. Doctor will tell you this is very, very good for you. Keeps me going 27 hours a day. Right?
That's right. Even though there's only 24. You
Oh.
somehow have
bend
quantic,
time.
physics in you.
That's balanceofnature.com. Promo code Rudy. 35% off Christmas is around the corner. Hanukkah, Kwanzaa, whatever you want. We got balance in nature.
What a great gift, right?
That's right.
Yeah,
For somebody you're doing
healthy.
such a good right
Dreaming
health.
Yeah.
It shows that you
of
care.
a balance of nature, Christmas.
And the
Like
mayor,
the
if we
ones
sell,
I used
if
to-
we're able to sell, we're going to set a target, a certain number. The mayors and we're going to write a Christmas, a balance of nature Christmas themed.
Yes, we'll do a
song.
Christmas jingle for you. We'll figure it out tomorrow.
No
We'll
promises
we'll
on
come
if we're
up
gonna
with a
sing it or
promise
not.
Can
for
we
you.
talk about
No
this?
If you
promises.
buy a certain number, we'll write a
So-
Christmas
so-
carol.
Balanceofnature.com and make sure to use that promo code Rudy, and you'll be supporting everything we're doing here on America's Mayor
I'm
Live.
told if you put it next to Dr. Maria's face, it sells better.
So whenever Mayor Rudy Giuliani goes somewhere, he gets a huge crowd. Well, there's a favorite place we like to go. It's called America's First Warehouse, and it's in Ronkonkoma, New York. I said it. Ronkonkoma, New York. You have to get tickets. He'll be doing live his radio show and America's Mayor Live. So you could be in the live studio audience. You have to go to, sorry, I have to look at the flyer, www.theamericafirstwarehouse.com to get your tickets. Very economical tickets too, $50.
Can
So-
take
What's
it.
that website again?
It is theamericafirstwarehouse.com/events.
The people have no
I'll
idea
put
how
that up on
beautiful
the
that
screen
place
here.
is.
This
Oh,
place
it's great.
is this
It's
place.
great,
If
yeah.
you are an America firster, if you are a patriotic person, if you get little tingles when the Star Spangled Banner is playing or the flag goes
I
by,
do. I cry every time.
man, you're gonna want to go back. Once you go, you're gonna want to go back and back and back and back and back and back.
place.
And there'll be plenty of time. We'll have a 1 hour show, plenty of time to talk and mingle and
get to new
tell
friends.
tell stories and also talk about things that we can't talk about on the air. You know, sometimes there are things like that, right? So tomorrow the Rockefeller tree is going up.
Please
and
be
a
careful.
group called Within Our Lifetime, which are Palestinian led community organizers. These are the people who glued themselves to 6th Avenue during the Thanksgiving parade. I thought it would have been perfectly fair to leave them there, but no.
Yep.
Yeah.
Let children, let families enjoy Thanksgiving. Let us all enjoy the lighting at Rockefeller
be
Center.
arrested.
The best
Yeah,
part
yeah.
is, Mayor, Christmas isn't even a Jewish holiday. So what are you doing?
What's that problem?
like
That's
Hamas hates Jews, but you're interrupting a Christian, Catholic, whatever holiday. I'm very
Well, they
confused.
hate us too.
You don't think Hamas hates Christians? Whoa,
Yeah.
Go to Lebanon, pal.
And that's how they should.
Yeah.
That's
Go
what,
find a Christian in Lebanon.
let's. Well, in a way, this is an attack on
you think
Christianity.
extreme
That's
Muslims?
what I'm saying.
Oh yeah, they were in love with Christians. Muhammad's rule was, kill the Jews, kill the Christians.
Yep.
I said that, didn't I? Muhammad's rule was, don't fool yourself. They didn't make this up. It's in the Quran. The bad part of the Quran. There's a good part and a bad part. There was a good Muhammad and a bad Muhammad. The bad Muhammad was a warrior, a stone cold killer, and a lot of other things.
Pedo.
Okay. Well, okay. I already have a fatwa, so what are they going to do? They also splashed red paint on the public library, causing 75 grand in damage. And they did an anti-Zionist organization shutdown of the Manhattan Bridge. How they're still hanging around, I don't know, but that is a discredit to our mayor, because if there was a previous mayor, these guys would have not gotten through the first one.
We all agree it's your right to be able to assemble
Peacefully.
peacefully.
That's right.
But if you inhibit cars going by, bridge flow, you don't have a permit, you get arrested.
Jumping on cop cars.
Yeah,
Wait,
yeah,
wait a
yeah.
second. If you cement yourself to my sidewalk, you're going to be in the nut house for a year. I'm sorry.
Bellevue.
You're going to be sitting in Bellevue before we even worry about a trial. For so long, you're not going to have any problem, bothering people.
What would you do, Mayor? You hear there's going to be a big protest in
Real
the middle
simple.
of Manhattan tomorrow. What are you doing? Well, maybe not. We don't want to give it away
Well,
here.
first
but-
thing we should do is listen to what Bill Bratton said today, who said if we go below 30,000 police, it would be a disaster for New York. He is 100% correct. And we are threatening to do that because our mayor invited 100,000 illegals to come here. He invited them to come here by making it not just a sanctuary city, a super sanctuary city. Philadelphia was a sanctuary city. Chicago, they all were sanctuary cities. We were going to be the big one. Adams was boasting and
greeting them as they came off the
and
bus.
they knew it. They came off. They came across the Rio Grande thinking, "Oh, Adams, we're going to get extra health care. We're going to get education. We're going to get this. We're going to get that. We're not going to have to work." This whole idea that they came here for work, he wanted to get them work permits. Only 2% out of the 120,000 applied for work. They've got as much interest in work as.
How about the Chinese men that came last night?
Now,
all those spies. China hates us. They want to take us over.
Who knows
we
who
get
they are?
Spies throughout our government, not only from China, but Iran.
You watch that parade in San Francisco, the glorious parade for the single biggest murder of Chinese people alive. And these Chinese people, thousands of these Chinese people are standing there with a red Chinese flag,
singing their
cheering for the man who
anthem,
killed more of their people than anyone alive. There's something wrong with that happening in an American city under the auspices of a Democrat governor. And how about him? He goes over to kiss the guy's ring. This guy is going to probably going to replace Biden. So Biden's been running things for China.
Newsom.
Looks like this guy's going to do the same thing. He went over to kiss Xi's ring. What the hell's he doing going over to China? I mean, this guy, you know how many people Xi killed with COVID? I mean, Biden wouldn't even say it. He's too afraid to say they'll take his money back.
Well, I know your show is coming to an end, so I thank you for having me on. It's always great to be with your audience. Don't forget us together Sundays, WABCRadio.com, 10 a.m. We're going to talk about Minneapolis.
Uncovering the truth. But I do have a Christmas message.
Oh, you better hurry.
For the end. Please show my stockings.
Your stocking?
The stockings that I have over here.
Yeah, I got it.
Okay. That was the White House last year, done by stepmother Jill. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 grandchildren. Oh, we're missing one who's crying, stepmother. So you know what they did this year? These phony. They didn't put out any stockings at all. So now they have no grandchildren. Do you realize what you did if you voted for him? What you did to us and how angry I am at you? Please don't do it again. No Democrat, please. Give us a couple of years of no Democrats so we can straighten this country out and we stop being like Soviet Russia, East Berlin, China. How about we get an American president that worries that only one American hostage has been returned? All he cares about are Palestinians, doesn't care about the Israelis. The Israelis have been tortured, never talks about that. Americans, hostages there, not just 10, hundreds aren't allowed out.
Well, thank you very much, Mayor.
God bless America. Get ready for next year. And remember those stockings that'll tell you what kind of a soul these people have or don't have. God bless.